This group of friends were brought together by breast cancer, but now their bonds have them representing Taranaki on the world stage.
A busload of us from Taranaki went to a breast cancer conference in Rotorua. It was 2007-8. We were called Titty Titty Bang Bang, and we're all breast cancer survivors. So that was organised sort of from the Cancer Society here. And we saw a display about dragon boating, and we're looking at it, and then we said to each other, we could do that on the Waitara River. So that's how the seed really began.
We thought, well, we'd follow that up and find out if they had any boats in Wellington that they could lend us. And they were able to do that. So they sent one boat, and we used that at the beginning. We had one old wooden boat, and it was an old wooden dunger.
We didn't have much. We had the paddles, which we'd fundraise for. We had a group of people who were really keen to start the club, and we had this old boat. So we launched it in the river and got in it.
Their knowledge of exactly what dragon boating involved was limited, to say the least. Thankfully, they were able to call on a more established team, Can Survive, to provide some tips to keep them afloat.
We had someone from Can Survive with us who told me the other day that we took a lot of convincing that we shouldn't go up the river without a sweep. We didn't actually have a sweep then, because we can't get out on the river without a sweep.
For the uninitiated, a sweep is a person who steers and controls the boat. But to slice through the water, you need a team who knows what they're doing.
So in the boat, every seat has a purpose, so it's divided into three. So in the middle is the engine room, which is the real powerhouse. Those with big muscles tend to be able to fill those middle seats quite well. The ones at the front, they're like the pushers or the instigators of the time. So there's about 6 of them need to be keeping it going, so it's that momentum going. And at the back, we've got the same, about 6 chasers. So they're making sure they keep up with the middle and the front. So it's all in synergy. Yeah.
After 15 years of learning and growing, the Taranaki Pinks breast cancer team finally have enough members to compete.
That was the dream, really, to set up a breast cancer survivors team. But it took a long, long time to come to fruition. But that's all good. So it has really only happened in the last, this year, for the Karapiro Breast Cancer Festival.
We really appreciate how hard it is in New Zealand for these provincial teams, the likes of Simply the Breast from Marlborough, Taranaki Dragons from New Plymouth. It's very, very difficult for them to get together in such small populations to build a team.
And over the years we've turned into quite a big club, and we've got 2 boats now.
Definitely we feel like we are out on a limb, because we're 3 hours drive to our nearest regatta in Hamilton.
Kudos to those teams in the regions who've been able to do that, to build teams to be at this event.
In April, teams from around the world gathered at Lake Karapiro, unified by their love of the sport and pink paddle power.
We've had representatives here from 21 countries, and there are over 2,000 women athletes here. We have no men at this particular event, but over 2,000 women athletes. That's the biggest women's only sporting event in the world. And honestly, to see these competitors, to see them performing, it is not about participation any longer. It's about being an athlete, giving it your absolute 100% best. And that is what happens. Even though we talk about participation, we, as I said, we become really strong athletes.
We go out on the river and we have lots of fun, but we are very competitive as well. And we saw that in Karapiro when we got a bit mucked, and then we got back into the lane again, and we were just going pow, 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 all of us, and everybody was yelling, and we could hear the man on the radio telling us, Taranaki Dragons is coming up the side. Like, we didn't win anything, but we just were so wanting to win. Yeah, so that was a really good experience for all of our people, because not everybody's been to a great big regatta like that.
I think we both want to go on the next Dragon Boat Festival. It's just insane, and because it's anywhere in the world, it's it's a bit exciting to think it could be Canada, it could be Japan, it could be Malaysia, Britain, anywhere. So I think that's our goal, other than personal goals of trying to improve our paddling and stuff.
For Mariati, controlling the boat with a steerer's oar is now second nature.
So when you're out there in the water, I think you go to another place, whether it's paddling or sweeping. It's like you're there just doing it and nothing else counts in the world. Even the Breast Cancer Festival, I remember looking down that track and smiling and thinking, yep, this is me.
The dragon boating has just been awesome because once you're on the water, that's all you think about is just paddling and what you have to be doing, and it takes your mind off work, off the house, off family, off friends. You're just completely focused on what you do, and it is so good for the soul.
Finding funds and enlisting new paddlers is no easy task, but for this group, a special opportunity came just at the right time when I decided to make a film.
So one thing that happened in 2019 was the famous The Pinkies Are Back movie, directed by Lisa Bird, and that was one of the major promoters really of us getting more paddlers, as well as we used it as fundraising. It was such a motivational film that appealed to so many that very quickly quite a few of those people decided they did want to paddle. And also we used it as fundraising. So that was the beginning of us getting to the Breast Cancer Festival really.
I had my diagnosis in lockdown in 2021, and it was on the back of some other cancer that I've had over several years, and also on the back of losing my husband in a really rough time. So it was like, wow, this is massive. But if anything that I've learned is just you put one foot forward in front of the other and you just keep going.
The one big difference for us is that we can name a squad. We can have a squad of 30 when we start this adventure, but then through the process of time and by the sheer nature of who we are, we lose people, and we don't just lose them because they decide to go to another sport. They pass away. But I can tell you from every single fibre of my being, we celebrate those women, we celebrate those losses, and we celebrate today for everything that we have.
You think you're fairly strong, but when you see some of those other women and what they're going through, what they've been through, it's, it becomes very inspiring.
Yeah, I think we did on the wall of memory at the festival, we wrote up the names, so we had four names we've written up for that. Yeah, so we hold them in our heart. Yeah.
Over 3,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer in New Zealand every year, and although many survive, sadly, some do not.
I paddle with a picture of my sister-in-law in my cap because we lost her to stage 4 metastatic breast cancer during lockdown. So she's my inspiration, and she's the one that gets me out on the water. So yeah, she comes with me every time.
One of the most important aspects and the most poignant is the rose ceremony, or the flower ceremony as it has become known. And this is celebrated at the end of the last race for the breast cancer survivors. Each of us has our own personal memory. Each of us goes to our own quiet place while we're there. But it is so poignant, it is so special, it will always be the most important part of any of these regattas.
I think when you're out there paddling, it's not about being a survivor. It's about loving life and, doing what you can to the full.
It makes you feel whole because you're participating in this group of really wonderful women who are all really keen to dragon boat, and that's the best thing about it.
While the New Zealand dragon boating season is now on hiatus, for some, their duties aren't over.
It was suggested that some people might like to try for the Black Dragons, which is the national team in different age groups. And so we do have 3 club members who are vying for that position in different age groups. And we're pretty excited about that, even to become, to do the trials and the weekend camp that's coming up in Auckland for that.
Taranaki Dragons have been doing it hard for 15 years. They go to all the regional events. What's good about Taranaki this year is we have 3 of them trying out for the Black Dragons teams. and they're in the senior A's and senior C.
I used to be a netballer, but after my treatment and things, my body's told me, nah, you can't do it anymore. You know, things start to break. But doing the dragon boating, it's something that you can do, and it's good for the breast cancer survivors. It's shown, research has shown that it's a good exercise for breast cancer survivors, and it reduces the risk of lymphedema.
Caroline, are you coming? I'm coming. Hurry up then, come on. Oh, wait, do I need a paddle? Yes you do, you need a paddle.
There's very many people that join the club who aren't sports people or wouldn't see themselves as sports people, but some of them now see themselves as international athletes. Going to Melbourne, Breast Cancer Festival, you know, international festival or whatever. So yeah, I think it's been especially good for women and all shapes and sizes and personalities and all of that. It's just, yeah, a whole lot of people that you wouldn't know if you didn't belong to the club.
Yeah, I just feel incredibly energised by it and very, very encouraged to go, yeah, life is for living, and you just have to, I don't know, when you're sort of a bit worried about maybe you'll stand out because you're new to go and try something, it's like, just go for it.
Grab the opportunity.
Yeah, grab the opportunity.
Yeah.
Lisa Bird, Local Focus.